And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day 21 of the boot camp. As you can see, we're going to be talking about trade journaling. And what better time to do this, because if you've made it this far, you have probably already started to take some entries, or in the next couple of lessons, you're about to learn the exact process for getting into entries. So what better time to talk about journaling? I know there's a lot of debate in the space whether or not you should trade journal or you shouldn't. Of course, you should be fucking trade journaling, guys. If you are not trade journaling, there is no way to even tell whether or not you're profitable, whether or not you have a real statistical edge in the market, right? If you don't have data, if you haven't been collecting data on exactly what you're doing, there's no way to tell whether or not it actually works. The closest you can get is like, oh, I was lucky from here to here, and I was unlucky from here to here. So journaling is very important. Journaling is very crucial. If you aren't journaling your trades, you are much like an athlete who does not watch back his film, who does not study his performance, and who does not make a plan to improve. So with that being said, if you do want to be a professional trader, you must journal. I have attached a journaling template in the description of this video, and I've also attached a full video on how you can actually fill this journal out. So both of those things are down in the description below. Both are completely free, and they're going to complement this lesson. However, this lesson, I'm not going to show you exactly how to fill out that journal, right? I already made a video on that, so that would be actually completely pointless. The objective of this video is to hammer home the importance of journaling, as well as to help you guys understand the actual reason you're journaling, right? This is not just writing shit down in a piece of paper or in a book just to look at it or just to make it sound good. This is to track performance, identify weaknesses, and to reflect and refine, right? You go out there, you track your performance, you identify the weaknesses, and then you reflect and you refine, make a plan to improve. It is the cycle of improvement, and the vehicle for doing this is your trade journal. So with that being said, let's dive into it. I am going to rant. There is going to be no slides in this video, so make sure you have a pen and paper and you're going ahead and writing this stuff down. So the first thing we have to understand, of course, is that cycle of improvement. Tracking performance, identifying weaknesses, reflecting, and refining. Now, how do you want to be thinking about this? Well, in terms of trading, there are only two things that actually matter: time and price, right? Time is on this axis of the chart, price is on this axis, and you're trading the chart of time and price. So what we want to be keeping track of is all the elements of time. What time are you entering? What time are you exiting? What days of the week are you trading? Where do those days of the week line up within the month? This is all stuff I go over in that trading video while I am teaching you guys how to fill out the journal. And the journal is also designed in a way to capture all of this data. But I'm just letting you know the intention and the purpose behind it. Each of those fields has a purpose, so time is one of them. You're going to get what entry time, what exit time, what days of the week, was there news that day, and also what time did you exit? Did you take the trade on the 15-minute, the daily, the 1 minute? You're tracking all of those elements of time. And then in terms of price, you're tracking where was price at? Was it at a fair value gap, an order block, liquidity? You're pinpointing exactly where you took that entry so you can track that over time and figure out what your win percentage is. And on top of that, you want to also track all of the intangibles, all the psychological stuff, all of the life stuff that could have happened. Maybe you were out late the night before, so you didn't get optimal sleep, and that played into you chasing a loss. Maybe you had a bad phone call right before you hopped on the trades, so you were a little bit more emotional when you were trading. All of those things matter, and you must be tracking all of those things as well, because you will look back at this data and notice that there are one or two things that continue to show up and continue to repeat. Once you've identified those, you have now identified the missing pieces that are going to make you profitable. Now, all of that sounds pretty simple, right? Pretty basic, but you'd be surprised at how unorganized most traders are with keeping an actual record of this. And the reason why is because they get emotional. They don't want to make themselves look bad. They don't want to journal the loss. They're embarrassed to have it in a trade journal, or they just don't want to go back there and look look at their fuck up. They just want to move on, risk more money, gamble more, and maybe hopefully get lucky. But that's not any of us here. That is not what we're here for. We're here to build real consistency. So the plan must be adhered to, and you must take this seriously because every trade that you take is a business decision. And if you're just out here taking all sorts of trades and not keeping track of them, you're just basically throwing money at stuff, making business decisions without any calculation, without any tracking. And you never want to be doing that. So make sure you download the trading journal template, get this thing in place. And the second part of this is you must follow your trading plan. If you do not follow your trading plan, there is no real way to tell if you actually have a statistical advantage over the market. And the reason why is because you keep fucking up the data. You don't have accurate data because you're throwing in trades in between that don't follow the strategy. You're taking losses in between that don't follow the strategy. And you might even be taking wins in between that don't follow the strategy. So even tracking your wins is incorrect. You want to treat this like a science experiment, guys. In science, there are controlled variables that stay the same within an experiment, no matter what, they do not change. And there are variables that change throughout the experiment. Now, I'm a high school dropout, so I do not know what those variables are called. I used to remember, but it's blanking my mind right now. So don't fucking make fun of me. I can trade fucking better than you. All right, fuck it. The controlled variable, and then we have the changing variable, right? Now, in order to get an accurate experiment, the control variable has to stay controlled, right? And the changing variable is going to change throughout the whole experiment. That's expected. Now, apply that to trading. Your controlled variable is you following your fucking rules. The moving variable is the market. So if this variable is moving, which is the market, and so is your plan, how the fuck are you going to conduct an accurate experiment? You're not. You're not going to be building any sort of data that's worth even going over. So the plan only works if you follow the plan, guys. Follow the plan and actually think of this as a data collection experiment. That's one thing I used to do, and it used to really help my psychology because it wasn't about making money anymore. It wasn't about taking the biggest position, the biggest risk anymore. It was about collecting accurate data. So anytime a setup would come that gave me FOMO, or anytime I take a loss and I want to chase it, I'd be like, no. And it's not even about the money. It's not even about getting the money back. It's about not compromising the data. In order for us to know if we're profitable, we have to at least be able to run this while following the plan exactly for at least 2 weeks. Like, at least give it 2 weeks, at least give it 30 days. If you can't even follow it for that long, then, maybe this just isn't for you, or maybe you just need to identify better habits, which is why we journal. So with that being said, guys, a little bit of an off-the-cuff lesson because, I already recorded a full video showing you guys this, but I thought it's an appropriate time to bring it up as well as add some context into the actual importance of it and the why behind why you should even collect this data in the first place. But comment below, day 21 complete. Congratulations for making it a whole 3 weeks in a row worth of videos, guys. That's 21 days total. You've been showing up every single day right here in this place right now. So congratulations for your dedication. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed night.